We are back. This time it is the NBA Rundown, brought to you by Run Pure Sports and Run Pure Bets. I'm your host, Astaire, joined again by Tyler Hicks and a newcomer to the show, Bobby Hare. Bobby does the playbooks there over on runpuresports.com. If you're a member, you're familiar with his work. If not, you can get to know Bobby and the way that he breaks down the NBA DFS slate on a daily basis. Bobby, we're so happy to have you join the show.
Yeah, excited to be here with you guys. It's a fun slate. We've already got quite a bit of injury news, so excited to dive into things with you guys.
Yes, so much goes on in the NBA is just navigating that injury news, which is why I always say that bettors like Tyler and I, we can decide who we want to spend up for, but you really need a service like Run Pure Sports to really properly identify the value and make these winning lineups. So we're glad to have you join us today. Tyler, did you see any of the NBA last night? The beam got lit again in Sacramento. How much fun is this?
Yeah, I mean, that team looks good. They're controlling California right now. So we talked about that meme I sent you where the Kings are looking at the other three California teams and they're going, look at me. I am the captain now.
Exactly.
So that's their state to run right now. We got our Anthony Simons play home again. I'm telling you, Spread, they keep setting that profit plus money. We just got to keep hammering it because the dude's shooting at least 50% of his shots from behind the three-point line. And they're going to keep setting it at 3.5. He's gone over that number a ton this year, shooting a ton of volume. I'm just going to keep hammering that prop as it comes out at that number and plus money on the odds.
Yeah, one thing we didn't get home was the Blazers full game bet, though. Did you see the end of that game? I was pretty disappointed. I thought we were going to cover.
Yeah, it got tight at the end, and then Brooklyn just was able to get the job done. I think they had a couple key offensive rebounds where they were able to get put back buckets, too. That was just in the end where the Blazers got crippled.
Yeah, who knew that Royce O'Neal would take that Bruce Brown role so well? Bobby, did you watch the NBA last night, and what were your thoughts from the 3-game slate?
I didn't get to watch as much of it as I wanted to. I've got a little 4-month-old at home, which
there you go.
It's been a challenge doing content and staying up to date on all the games and making sure my lineups are set and that kind of thing. And yesterday was kind of a weird slate, too, that we have a 9 p.m. Central start time. Just kind of a weird slate, but I did see that Rolls-Royce ended up putting up a triple-double, which is just insane.
Yeah, triple-double for Royce O'Neal. Did not have him in any of my lineups. I felt that we made some pretty good lineups here on the NBA Rundown with Kurt yesterday, but with Royce O'Neal breaking the slate like that, I wasn't able to get home. But guess what? Today's another day, and with the help of Bobby, we're going to try and make some more winning lineups. So let's dive right in tonight. Hold on. Let me relog it back into Bookmaker.
We had a nice injury report in this first game.
God forbid I stay logged out. I don't go to this Bookmaker page for 5 seconds. It's not like we just weren't doing all this NFL talk here. But I've got it pulled up. These lines are from Bookmaker. I think the best offshore when it comes to the sharpest line. So that's why I use them. The Washington Wizards are -6 taking on the Miami Heat. Total 216.5. Tyler, I did the playbook on this one, but the betting playbook, of course. A little frustrating, though, because I don't feel that any of my numbers are really predictive of this team because there's no Jimmy Butler tonight, no Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo's doubtful. Udonis Haslem's out. Okay, I think I accounted for that properly. Dwayne Dedmon's questionable as well. And on the other side, Caleb Martin. Boy, Washington, except for Jordan Goodwin, it's a pretty clean slate here tonight. I don't know what to make of this. My numbers like the Heat, but you look at the injury report and you kind of throw the numbers out. I kind of like a Porzingis over on his points prop. That was the way I was going to approach this game. Tyler, start with you. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I like his points prop. I like his rebounds prop because if no Bam and he's doubtful, I doubt he plays. Dedmon's questionable. I don't see him really keeping up with Porzingis. 8.5 is a bit short. I think he can get double-digit rebounds against that front court at that point. And as for the side, give me the Wizards here. There's no way I could back a Heat
even
team.
At 6?
Yes, this Heat team is just dwindled down to nothing. Like they're missing their 1, 2, and 3 options. So it's going to be Kyle Lowry and a bunch of role players out there. If you didn't want to lay it and you want to go through a performance double, I mean, Porzingis to hit 3 threes and then win plus 225. Him to double in Washington, win 2-1. If you want to,
I like the double a lot better.
Yeah, if you want to go the Kuzma route, 22 plus points, Washington wins 3-1. Him to hit 3 threes in Washington wins plus 350. That'd be some ways I'd come at this game.
All right, Bobby. So what makes this game tough for betting makes it very appealing for daily fantasy. I'm pulling up DraftKings right now to go ahead because I'm thinking we're going to have some Miami Heat in our lineups here. How are you approaching this one?
Yeah, there's definitely some solid value on the Heat side of things. I mean, last time Nikola Jovic, I guess knockoff Joker, ended up starting for the Heat last time around. He got off to a hot start.
He's good. I haven't watched a lot of the games, but I've seen some of the film threads, and he's really talented. He's got some great highlights.
He is, but I like the call on betting Porzingis' overs. I mean, it just in general, I think that he should have his way on the board. So I like that call from a prop perspective. But I think that Jovic and Duncan Robinson are the two that stick out the most from like a value perspective on the Heat. I could see them maybe starting Dedmon. If he's maybe a little bit healthier, especially with the size in the Washington front court. But I'm going to like whoever is starting at center the most for the Heat. I'm probably not going to go with whoever's on the bench. So from that perspective, we got to figure out who the starters are. And it's one of the first games. Or it is the first game. So we'll know who's starting at center. So that's where my primary interest is from a value side of things. I do like Duncan Robinson. I think point per dollar, though, outside of Jovic, I think my favorite guy on the Heat is Gabe Vincent. I expect him to have some nice usage tonight. I can definitely see him sliding into the starting lineup as well next to Kyle Lowry. And Kyle Lowry is fairly cheap. He just hasn't got there ceiling-wise a whole lot this year. So I'm probably going to mainly be targeting the value side for the Heat, especially as we get to one of the later games with the Nuggets missing so many guys. I think I'm going to probably reserve my kind of mid-range pieces for that game and some other spots on the slate.
All right, so I threw 2 Heat in there right now just while you were talking. Do I run it back with any Washington guys at all, or do you think I'm fine just having 2 Heat and moving on?
Yeah, for NBA, I never feel like I have to have a run back. I mean, just because minutes and production usage is always so much more important than the game environment. I mean, there's definitely instances where I'll, attack a game heavily or maybe even stack a game up, but I never feel like you have to have a run back. If I were to have anyone come back on the Washington side of things, Denny Avdija's been playing pretty well. I would consider him as kind of like a mid-tier value piece. And Beal is fairly cheap at 8-2 still and was actually really good in his first game back. But just with how thin the Heat are in the front court, I definitely think that Porzingis could be a guy that's worth a shot in a GPP, or at least if you're playing that big $15 having a little exposure.
Who gets the extra Jordan Goodwin usage? With him being out, does that just all go to Monty Morris, or are they going to give the rookie some Johnny Davis?
I don't think that he's going to play a single minute.
It might go to the wings, too. They might just go Barton and Kispert, give them some more minutes.
Yeah, I think that's kind of where it all just kind of gets spread across like 3 different guys, and like I have zero interest in playing Corey Kispert on like a 10 games or 11 game slate.
Yeah, he's like a showdown only type of guy, right?
Yeah. Or if like Kobe goes to the NBA again and the Wizards are starting have like a 7-man rotation, then sure I'll consider throwing Corey in there.
All right, so there you have it.
We need 2020 NBA back to get Corey Kispert in DFS today.
I mean, it's so funny. I actually liked him coming out of school. They've continually had draft picks that I thought are going to do good that don't flame out, but they just never meet their potential, right? Like Denny, he's cool, but he's never going to be anything like special. Rui, same way. Another really solid role player. They, they're really good at just drafting guys that can make a contribution.
They tried to pencil Denny in as the next Luka too, which I just never.
I didn't see that because he flamed out in the EuroLeague before he went to Israel.
Why are we doing this to a guy who's you're going to compare him to somebody we haven't seen somebody like Luka in years come through the process like that. Then a year later, they're like, this guy's going to be the next guy that does that. And it's that's not going to happen again for 10 years.
Tyler, you missed it when you were a kid in the 90s. Any guy that was over 6'6" that could dribble was the next Magic Johnson. So they've been doing this for a long time.
Look at nowadays, though. It's how when these bigger guys come out of school and they can move, they're like, here comes LeBron's recreation. They thought Wiggins was going to be Kobe. They thought Zion was going to be LeBron. So it's they still do that.
Tyler, are you looking at the chat right now? First of all, Bobby's getting a ton of love. But look at Travis Mangone coming with the Heat. He says he's great in the 1 o'clock window, but sucks in prime time.
He's taking shots.
Unbelievable. Bobby, do you have any response to our guy Travis Mangone, who shows up in the chat bringing heat today?
I mean, it's a lot of coming from a Packers fan. I mean, we're 8-1.
He's just salty about that loss, Bobby.
Yeah.
They're throwing deep shots on him with 30 seconds to go in the game, shooting for the end zone.
That was pretty sweet, actually.
Yeah, I tried to get a little Travi bucks at the beginning of the season with the little Vikings versus Packers division winner, and I never heard back from Travis, and I'm not surprised why.
Oh,
All
wow.
right. Well, it's great to see you in the chat today, Travis. I know you don't listen when we're on the air together. Maybe you'll listen while while you're just chilling at home. I see my guy Glock in the chat too. We're gonna have to bring Glock back.
Yeah, we got to get Glock on here soon.
Don't think that we forgot about you, Glaucoma. We'll travel to Dallas if we need to. And also, Gary is in the chat. What's up to my guy Gary? Oh man, we got a pretty heavy hitting chat today. I hate when this happens, Tyler. I almost get nervous. We got to put on a good show, and we got to talk about this. What's up?
No, I was laughing. Keep going.
Okay, let's talk about this high-profile game. The Milwaukee Bucks are plus 1.5 in Philadelphia, taking on the 76ers, total 211.5. Interesting game, Tyler. I think this one's tough to cap until we know that Drew Holiday's in there. The Bucks have traditionally done well against the 76ers, and I think that's because Giannis can't. I mean, no one's really going to stop Embiid, but I think he at least troubles them and maybe get him on foul trouble on the other end. But I think with that Drew Holiday out, this team is really struggling. Especially with depth. I'm waiting for that news, but if I do get some Drew Holiday news, I was thinking about playing the Bucks. What do you think of that?
Yeah, definitely like the Bucks here. I think the more I'm looking at this game, I want to bet them now before the news. I want to get them as the underdog. Because once he's rolled in.
You don't think it flips even in Philly, though, right?
If he's rolled in, they're going to become like a -1, a -1.5 favorite. Which, I mean, you still get a nice price on them. I'd just rather have the plus money now. Because I think they win the game. Philly is still built exactly how they were last year. And now Harden's still out. It's just the Embiid show. Do we think he's going for, what did he do, 58, 11, and 7 the other night?
No, he won't do that against Giannis.
And they had to fight to win that game at that. That ain't going to work here against the Bucks team.
But the Bucks aren't deep. That was against Utah that,
They have no bigs. Brook Lopez might not be the best, but the dude will stay in front of Joel and not let him just get to the rim. Like, he could do that. He's also going to pull Joel to the 3 line and shoot a ton of threes. I mean, we could have called him Brooke Curry from that Cleveland game. I think he hit 8 threes. So, I mean, I'm going to back him today. You can go into FanDuel and ladder up his props. His 3 prop is 1.5 -160. I don't want to lay that juice. If you bet him to make 3+ threes, it's plus 200. If you think he hits 4, it's 5-1. And they don't even have him listed for 5, but you would probably be getting that at a crazy price. I think he hits a ton of threes. I think Giannis lights him up. The other big thing is Tobias Harris is questionable. That'd be another body Philly would be without, just forcing more usage to Embiid. Give me Milwaukee. They win this game out right here. Giannis has a big day. The shooters shoot well. Brook Lopez has a game. Milwaukee wins this one.
Now, Bobby, we do want to hear your DFS thoughts, but this is a fascinating game just because it's 2 Eastern Conference powerhouses, right? I mean, I've always overrated the Sixers. It feels like Travis always likes to point that out, how I'm always too high on that team. But, it could be a potential playoff battle here. Who do you like on the side? Do you think the Bucks can get it done against the Sixers?
I think I'm actually going to go with the 76ers on this one, partially because, they're at home, and also, I mean, Embiid's just playing at a different level right now. I mean, I guess if Tobias Harris is out, that hurts them a little bit. They've got a few different guys on the bench to kind of fill that role, and obviously Harden's out. But this Bucks team's just kind of thin right now until Chris Middleton comes back, Pat Con comes back. So with Embiid heating up, I don't think he's going to go off from a DFS perspective like he did against the Utah Jazz. But I like this game quite a bit as far as an actual real-life basketball game, not so much for DFS.
Okay, so do we just stay this away from this game altogether? Like, Giannis probably not worth spending up at this price, or with the value that we're getting in Miami, can we afford to go to Giannis? Or do you even think it's even worth spending up for him?
I think he's kind of an interesting contrarian spend. I think last time I looked at Sabre ownership, he's sub 5% right now.
Really?
Yeah, so I think Giannis could be kind of an interesting spend. And he was, I think I got him a couple slates back in single-digit ownership. Well, there's a lot of value. I mean, I think there's, especially when you can get stars low owned, usually something that I have a Monday, Wednesday, Friday NBA write-up column that I have. And one of the sections is called shippers. And typically what I focus on are single-digit owned studs that I think are a good place. And Giannis might crack it today. I don't really care from a usage perspective if Drew is in or not. Actually, I kind of want Drew in to kind of help keep some of the focus off Giannis a little bit, just help keep the game competitive. But there's going to be a lot of value. So, I mean, you can get Giannis in your lineups, and that's the only guy I'm interested on the Bucks side. Probably won't make my main team, but I think there is going to be enough value where you could make the case for him as a contrarian spend. And on the Philly side, Embiid's playing really well, and he's sub 12K. Definitely a tougher matchup than dealing with Kelly Olynyk in the Utah Jazz. But sub 12K and Embiid playing at this level. I think last year is kind of similar, that Embiid got off to a little bit slower start, had a knee injury or had COVID or something, and then he came back and just went on a tear the rest of the year. So I can definitely see Embiid having a big game. So I got some interest in the two studs on each side, but nothing else.
I love that you managed to slip in some Kelly Olynyk slander there. That was fantastic work. Let's go ahead and move on. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to talk about what Drew Carpenter said. He said Giannis has not looked good in his first 2 games back from injury, but he thinks it's a great bounce back spot for tonight. Yeah, I think he's going to be fired up tonight. Like I said, some of the games, these teams sleepwalk through the schedule, but I think both these teams know, and they're going to want to make a statement because this could be a potential playoff matchup. I don't think we'll be seeing this next game in the playoffs, though, because the Charlotte Hornets are catching 9.5 in Cleveland, taking on the Cavaliers, total 220. Tyler, after that Cavaliers hot start, this team is falling apart. I think they've lost 5 or 6 in a row. They're obviously suffering from injuries. I don't think they're going to have Jared Allen tonight. Mitchell and Garland have been in and out of the lineup. I think they're missing our guy Dean Wade as well. Let me pull this up and get the exact ones here. But Tyler, yeah, Dean Wade's doubtful. Jared Allen actually is questionable. LaMelo Ball's out. Wow, boy, that was tough. Had to play 3 games, huh? Mark Williams is out. He was a player that I really liked for them, but I knew he was going to take a little while to develop. Interesting news, though. Gordon Hayward, this is the first time we've seen a coup tag on him. Dennis Smith, still doubtful. Tyler, the numbers like the Hornets here, but I didn't want to necessarily get involved because this lineup has just been rotating. Guys in and out, no continuity. Feels like a good spot for Cleveland to bounce back. Don't necessarily want to lay it with the Cavaliers here either. Everything, to me, screams stay away on this game. Am I missing some value?
No, I don't think so. I'm staying away from this one. The only thing I'd bet in this one right now would be the under, because I think Charlotte comes out like they're just missing a couple guys. LaMelo kind of runs the offense. Rozier hasn't been shooting well. The way Cleveland's built too, they could defend well and keep them out of the paint. I think they can keep that game under 221 like that. And then I'm going to stay. There's just too many points at 9.5. I can't bet the sides.
Yeah, like the model had it at 7, but
looking at some of these performance doubles, I mean, Garland, they score 25 plus points in Cleveland, win plus 180. Him to double in Cleveland, win plus 200. Mitchell to hit 5 plus threes in Cleveland, win 3-1. That'd be some ways I'd come at this game because I do think they win, but I'm just not looking to lay 9.5 here.
All right, Bobby, what are your thoughts here when the Hornets take on the Cavaliers?
Yeah, it was interesting that Gordon Hayward got upgraded to questionable. It makes me think that he is going to play tonight, and it looks like a lot of optimizers have Gordon Hayward in the projection. So,
do you like a guy the first game back from injury? Because I usually don't.
No, I usually don't, and especially someone like Gordon Hayward. Gordon Hayward's a guy that I never get the guy. I never really get him right. So I tend just to stay away from him as a whole, and definitely it makes me just a lot less interested on the Hornets side of things.
All right. And then any interest on the Cleveland side?
Well, if Hayward doesn't play, I think Theo Maledon will likely end up as a starter, since I think Dennis Smith Jr. is doubtful. LaMelo Ball unfortunately stepped on that fan and injured that same ankle, which is terrible. It was really fun having him back in the mix. So
I know. I think he makes the team more fun, even though I don't really think he helps them win.
Yeah, and I mean, I have a LaMelo Ball problem with DFS too. I love to play him and then get tilted after the first quarter when he has 2 quick fouls and gets taken out. But at least they have a new coach, so hopefully I don't have as stupid of rotations where he's not playing as many minutes. So yeah, but I'm really only interested in the Charlotte side if Hayward sits. If Hayward sits, Rozier and Oubre, from a usage perspective, are actually pretty similar for usage. Oubre is more scoring dependent, but he can get you double bonus on DraftKings. Actually, one of my best DFS day season so far. I got Kelly Oubre at sub 10% and shipped that $200 splash on DraftKings a couple weeks back. So I'm definitely a fan of Oubre and Rozier, and Theo Maledon as a value if Hayward ends up sitting. And AP's guy, Plum Dog Millionaire, has been pretty solid too. So you could go there, but I'm really only interested if we've got Hayward out for this one.
All right. Tyler, anything more on this one before we move on?
No, that was pretty much it on that game for me.
Yeah, the only other thing I'll mention on that one is just obviously Jared Allen's still questionable. I like both of the bigs. Even if Allen plays, I don't mind that he's coming back from the injury. It's just the nut matchup against Charlotte for bigs. So I like Jared Allen and Evan Mobley quite a bit.
What about this one, Tyler? This is from our guy Richie Smalls. Mobley double and win.
I need to know if Allen's out to bet the double. He could get there with him in, but it's one of them things like Allen could. My thing about betting doubles, if I'm not taking the guy who's mainly under the rim, I just hate when there's when you look at Allen, it's like Allen at any moment. It would not surprise you if the game ends. It's like, wow, Buddy grabbed 18 rebounds today, and Mobley only grabbed 7 because Allen just turned into a black hole under the hoop and was just grabbing everything that came off the rim. Yeah. So that's my only worry there. So I just need to know if he's going to be the main big man under the hoop or if he's going to be more standing in the corner a little bit and catching some of these shots. So it's my only worry there.
Yeah, Rance makes a good point here. He says tons of players out in most games. Yeah, it's only November. Can you imagine what March is going to look like this year?
I mean, ridiculous.
That's why you have to, if you're playing DFS, you have to have a team like the Run Pure Sports team help you navigate all this news. Of course, head on to runpuresports.com, become a member. And hey, while I'm throwing out some promos, give us that thumbs up. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, breaking down the whole NBA board for you. All we ask is give us that quick thumbs up. The Indiana Pacers are -5 taking on the Houston Rockets. Tyler, a total of 237. This one should be fun. This should be a good league pass game. I don't know if I want to get involved, though. Should I just relax and enjoy the fireworks, or am I missing some value? My model absolutely loved the Pacers here. It made me question my model, though. I don't know if I'm taking the Pacers on the road on a Friday night. I know they started the season out well. I don't know if I'm really yet to buy into it, though. What do you think, right? We love the Rockets, right? They got all those young players that we like. Pacers have a bunch of young players that continue to get better every day, including rookie Benedict Mathurin, who's been the steal of the draft so far. Tyler, Pacers laying 5 in Houston. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to side with the Pacers here, spread.
You're going to lay it on the road on a Friday night, huh?
Yep. We backed Houston last game, and we got it home there. They were playing a Dallas team. I think they wanted to punt that game. They didn't want anything to do with it. Now they come in. They're playing an Indiana team that they like to run. Now it's just tough for Houston to, I think, get back-to-back wins. You're getting it at a short spread, too, at -5. I think Halliburton comes out and just absolutely destroys this team. I think he's hanging a monster number. The other key thing, too, is if Kevin Porter's out, that's going to really hurt Houston, I think, because he does run on the offense. He is like a bit of a spark plug. He was key in that win the other night. Give me Indiana here because I honestly think he sits this game. And I think Indiana could win this game by about 15. Would not be surprised to see them just absolutely blow this team out.
Wow. So it's too bad for our guys in Houston. Bobby, we're talking about the Pacers and the Rockets, 2 teams, right? And these young guys, right? They come in the league. They know how to put the ball in the bucket. They just don't know how to get stops. So we see that total of 237, and I think that's justified. We got to have some interest in this game, right? How are you approaching it?
Yeah, I've got a little bit of interest in this game. From a pricing perspective, nothing is like just completely jumping off the page right now with both teams fairly healthy. If Kevin Porter Jr. were to sit, I would love Jalen Green. Jalen Green would potentially become my favorite play on the entire slate, or at least I guess with the Nuggets guys, maybe top 5. But I'm always interested in KPJ and Jalen Green in tournaments. So I'm interested there. The bigs rotation for Houston's been kind of just no one's really stood out a ton now that Sengun's up to almost $7K. He's an okay price tag there. And Jabari Smith's been playing a little bit better. He's really reasonable at 5.2K on DraftKings. So I don't mind those 2 as kind of secondary options in the front court. And then Halliburton should be pretty low owned. I think he's projected for about 10% ownership at the moment. He's definitely got a big ceiling against this Houston team. I love targeting Houston and Indy. And then Buddy Hield's had some pretty solid games, but he's finally up to 7K. Miles Turner's over 7K. Just from a pricing side of things, I can definitely see some guys having a ceiling game here, and I love the game environment. But I'm probably limiting it to just the Houston guards or maybe one or two pieces on the Pacer side of things.
All right.
He brought me back to the prop section spread. We're going right back to that Miles Turner one. Over 25.5 points plus rebounds. Your guy Sengun looked good the other day. I think he could match up well with him. But just like you said, this team doesn't get any stops. Buddy's going to be grabbing offensive rebounds left and right. He's going to get double-digit points. I think he gets to that 25.5 on points plus rebounds. Give me the over there.
Yeah, Miles Turner continuing to show out since he went on a podcast and asked to be traded. Our guy make it happen.
I love that. Not only did he ask to be traded, he tried to sell himself in the trade. He's like, "This is what I bring to the table. This is how I make your team better. Please trade for me."
Yeah, I mean, it's just unbelievable. You think he's on the shop with LeBron at halftime. Our guy make it happen likes Mathern tonight. Bobby, what do you think about his prospects?
I think he's solid. I mean, he's had some ceiling games where he's really popped and he's a reasonable price. He's just not someone that I'm dying to get onto my teams, but I like him. He's just not like a top priority for me.
Would you bet him at 4-1 to win Rookie of the Year with Paulo sitting out right now, just to have that hedge ticket? Because if you had Paulo already, I mean, he's minus 700, so it's his award to lose. But if his ankle injury deals with a little bit too long, all of a sudden he's got too many missed games, and then the next best guy up wins it. It's got to be Benny.
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think the other kind of out that you have, not necessarily out, but there is a chance that Miles Turner gets his wish and maybe gets traded. I'm actually a Lakers fan. Maybe he gets traded to my Lakers.
You're a Lakers and a Vikings fan? Is this Jonathan Nelson in disguise? How did this happen?
Nelson would love this guy.
How did this happen?
There's not that many lakes in California. I don't know if you know, but Minnesota is known for land of 10,000 lakes. It's the OG Minnesota basketball team. So
yeah, I know that. You guys had what's the guy's name? George Mikan, right? Mm-hmm. Original Lakers star.
Yeah. So I mean, I've been a fan. I went to University of North Dakota for my undergrad, so I was staying up watching Steve Blake and Robert Sacre and stuff on the Lakers side of things. So I've earned my stripes a little bit, and the team's originally from Minnesota, so I can at least put my hat on that.
Those are some bad Lakers teams you were watching too.
Full disclosure, Bobby, I'm a Kings fan, and I'm still not over 2002.
My guy.
Yeah, I know. Unbelievable. Jonathan, you better give us like 2 thumbs up, multiple iPads and stuff with us bringing Bobby on. Bobby, I'm a Kings fan. I'm still not over 2002, just so you know.
The moment he said his favorite teams, he jumped all the way to 1 on Johnny's power ranking.
Yeah, you just moved up. So, hey, glad to have you on the show, but Lakers fan. Oh, well, I'll have to keep my comments in check now. So, you missed the LeBron slander on the earlier show.
Over there.
Pardon?
You're leading the division right now. You just keep quiet over there and just take your wins.
And just light the beam?
Yep,
light the beam, Johnny. What do you guys know about that, Johnny Nelson? All right. Anything more on this one before we move on?
No, that's pretty much it for me on that one.
All right, let's go for the Oklahoma City Thunder. They're plus 6.5 in Memphis, taking on the Grizzlies. Total 229.5. Let me check the injury report here because we'd love Memphis in the playbook, Tyler, when I did my projections. Trey Mann out, Isaiah Joe out, Darius Baisley out. No Q tags here, so we got a pretty good idea of who's playing. My projections think that Memphis is going to smash, but OKC is an against the spread darling. Tyler, should I take the favorite here?
I don't hate it taking them at home. I'm just glad we finally get this matchup spread. The point guard I've been saying is better than Ja all along. Finally gets to play in one-on-one after hitting the buzzer beater, knocking Washington off. They're going to both put up crazy stat lines tonight. I think SGA hangs 30-plus points, gets his assists, so definitely like his points plus assist prop at 37.5. Jaw's going to run up and down the floor. There's not much rim protection there. His points prop at 30.5 is probably also a winner. As for the side, probably going to stay away just at 6.5 because we all know OKC, they either wave the white flag very early and they just let their team get blown off the floor, or they'll be up. Memphis will be sitting here with Memphis up 10, and we'll be sweating it late in the game as they're just still running the starters out there, and then they'll end up winning the game by 4 and getting backdoored. So, gonna stick to the props in this one. And I'm also going to look to find and see if I can find a head-to-head matchup of SGA and Ja. And I want SGA to outscore him tonight.
Oh, wow. Can you find that? That's a pretty cool one. Bobby, is there any way we could stack the point guards in here? Is there enough value? And do you think that's a good idea, even if we can?
Oh yeah, I love both of SGA and Morant tonight. Those are two of my favorite plays from a DFS perspective, and definitely my two favorite plays from this game. I mean, SGA's price has just been stupid for the longest time. He's been sub 10K for quite a while, and his role has been ridiculous. And OKC's been staying in games, so he's still a little under 10K, and Ja is just above 10K. So I think both of those guys have 60-plus point ceilings tonight from a DFS perspective. So I like both of them quite a bit. And for the secondary pieces, well, if you're a game log watcher, Brandon Clark had an awesome game last time out, but Steven Adams got in foul trouble earlier. Like to attack OKC's from the front court. So I don't mind Steven Adams, and actually I don't mind Jaren Jackson Jr. either. Jaren Jackson Jr. came back last game. Played 25 minutes, shot 3 of 14, so had a pretty bad shooting performance, but put up 5 stocks, 7.6 boards. So 5.6K, if he gets 25 plus minutes, I mean, he can definitely get you at least 30 points in fantasy tonight. So I like him also on the Memphis side of things. And Poku's had a couple ceiling games recently for the Thunder. I know he randomly went off against the Celtics, and Darius Bazley's out, so his run's a little bit safer. So again, if you're looking for a guy to sprinkle kind of into like that big $15 on DraftKings, I don't hate Poku, but mainly interested in the Memphis bigs and the star point guards.
Tyler, he brought up Poku. Are you surprised that he's kind of finding himself now as an NBA player?
I'm not. And plus, I mean, you look at the guys that are out. Bazley would be the guys getting those minutes. They'd probably also just go small and give him the man. And this matchup, too, like you got to put a big out there. And you look at the roster, he kind of is the only big. So he has to get out there and play.
All right. Anything more from this one, Tyler, before we move on?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me on that one.
All right. The next one, the Orlando Magic taking on the Chicago Bulls. We got some green here on the injury report. Gary Harris in, Wendell Carter in, Patrick Williams in, Kobe White in, of course, Paolo Banchero still out, Cole Anthony still out, and Mo Wagner still out. But Wendell Carter Jr., revenge game. If Travis is still watching, I'm sure he'll love that. Vucevic, revenge game. I'm sure if Travis is still watching, he will love that. This line is kind of tough, though, Tyler. At 8.5, I don't know if I want to take it on the road, but let's be honest, the Magic have not been very good without Banchero in the lineup. Seems like the Bulls are pass. I'm heavily leaning towards pass right now. Tyler, am I missing value?
I don't think so, and I think the best way, because I don't want to lay 8.5 with the Bulls team. Yes, they could win this game by 8.5. I just don't trust them here. Give me the Vucevic double-double and win at plus 130. I figured we were going to get that closer to even money, even minus 120. But I think Vooch comes in. Our guy, We the People's talking about it in the chat. He says, I like Vooch double-double and win here. I think they win also. We're going to lock arms there. We're going to cash that 130 because he's going for about 20 and 10 in this game.
That's so much easier than laying the 10. I like that a lot. Bobby, any interest in this game from a betting side? And if not, how do you approach it from daily fantasy?
I don't mind the idea of betting the double-double from, as Kendrick Perkins says, Big Boosa bitch. So I don't mind going there from a bet perspective, and then also from a DFS perspective. Chicago guys are kind of lower priced. I usually don't like to target the 3 studs whenever they're in, but Vucevic is 7-1, Levine's 7-3 on DraftKings, and DeRozan's down to 8K. So Bulls are fairly healthy. I would only play one of those 3 if I'm playing any of them in a lineup. So their prices are reasonable. Jalen Suggs has been pretty good. That's really my only interest on the Magic side of things. And for a kind of Galaxy Brain tournament play, Andre Drummond's only 3.8K. You probably don't need to go there in main team or 3 max. But, Orlando's front court is it's been a little bit thinner, and it's, not necessarily imposing. Drummond can put up a lot of points in a short period of time. So if you wanted to, Galaxy brand team where Chicago absolutely blows Orlando out and Drummond gets 20 minutes, I could see him having a big game at sub 4K since he's just a usage monster when he is in the game.
All right. Yeah, I'm fine staying away from this one unless you have that double player performance double. I think they did a good job aligning this game to keep us away from taking the Bulls against a Magic team that's definitely struggled without their number one overall pick, Paolo Banchero. All right. Here's the game that everyone's going to want to talk about from a DFS perspective. But Tyler, we're going to take the bet side really quick. The Mavericks are -9 against the Nuggets. Total 215.5. We took the Nuggets without Jokic the other night. They couldn't even get it done against the Knicks. Now they hit the road. Luka took the game off before. He should be back tonight, but this could be a blowout. The game's got a low total. What are your thoughts, Tyler?
Yeah, Dallas or pass. I mean, now Jamal Murray's on that injury report too. Gordon's still questioning.
Really? You want to lay 9 with the Dallas team with a total 215?
I just don't see how Denver keeps up. Like,
that's a good point.
It's like Dallas has the bodies too where they match up well. Like, Denver's going to have to use their wings here, like Porter, Brown. Like, you're just going to have to run the offense through those kind of guys. Finney, Smith, and all these guys are just going to chase him around and defend him very well, chase him off the 3 line. They get hot from 3. Dallas, on the other hand, they're just going to pull away with this. That lead's going to balloon. Luka's going to have his way. There's nobody on the other side that's going to be able to match him with no Jokic. So he's rested. They need a win off a loss. Give me Dallas here. They win this game by at least 10. And then looking at some of the performance doubles, I mean, even this one, you could get Luka in the double-double at +108. I don't hate taking that at all.
All right. Bobby, what do you think of this game between the Nuggets and the Mavericks? What makes it terrible for Medi makes it pretty good for DFS, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, I also know my guy Glock would say not to bet the Mavs at that big of a spread considering they haven't been blowing any teams out this year. So I think I'd maybe lay the points on the Nuggets for this game actually. And there's a ton that I love from the DFS perspective on the Nuggets side of things. With Jamal Murray out as well. I mean, love Bones Highland, Bruce Brown in particular. Those are my 2 favorite Nuggets. I like Michael Porter Jr. to have a bounce back game. Aaron Gordon, I saw something on Twitter too that Mike Malone didn't seem very optimistic about his availability tonight. So I'm planning for Aaron Gordon to be out, even though he's still questionable. So the front court, then Zeke is my favorite guy for the Nuggets in the front court. And he actually closed out that game over DeAndre Jordan. Jordan played more minutes than I expected, but you can go to any of the Nuggets bigs from a value perspective. Love the Denver guards. I never loved playing KCP, but you could even consider throwing him in there. But basically every single starter on the Nuggets and Zeke on the bench is going to be in play for me. And then on the Dallas side of things, I mean, I'm thinking that Luka's going to get a decent amount of Bones Highland tonight on defense, and the Nuggets are still shorthanded. If I'm really spending up for someone, I would rather spend up for Luka than Giannis. I could see him having a huge game. But now that Luka's back, nothing else really interests me on the Nuggets side. I mean, the Mavs side.
Tyler, how is DeAndre Jordan in the league but DeMarcus Cousins isn't?
Makes no sense.
Just crazy to me. Just absolutely crazy.
Got some dirt on somebody.
Yeah. Unbelievable there. All right. Anything more from this game before we move on?
That's pretty much it for me. I don't see a Bruce Brown PRA up yet, but if you can get that number in the low 20s, I would like that.
Tyler, 2 of your darlings are going to face off. You've been betting both these teams so much. Now you must be buffering, seeing them take off. The Boston Celtics -2.5 in New Orleans taking on the Pelicans. Have we got any news here? I know that Zion was questionable earlier. So Brogdon's in, Smart's out, Zion's questionable. Celtics laying 2.5. What do you think? Can the Pelicans get it done tonight?
I think they could, but I think I'm going to stay away from this game spread. I mean, No Marcus Smart, Zion's questionable, Brogdon's back in. They have the bodies to defend Boston well, so it's weird. So I'm just going to stay away from it.
All right. We're going to stay away from it from a betting side and just enjoy the game. You know what, Tyler? If we're going to do this the old way, it might be an ARB game, right? If we were on the live show with our guy, the Keg, and right? I mean, I could see this one being an ARB potential here.
Oh, this is definitely a perfect live betting game. One of these teams is going to grab a lead. The other one will come back, make it a close game.
I think you'll be able to get +150 on both sides. I'm fine staying away from pregame, but we can't just cross games off in DFS, Bobby, without really looking at all the options here. So you've done the legwork here. Who should we be targeting from this game, if anyone?
I mean, you can kind of cross this game off from a DFS perspective.
Really? Even with Jason Tatum being like one of the elite scorers in the NBA?
Yeah, I mean, he's just like close to 11K. There's just a lot of guys that are in that range that I like better.
Okay.
Only real interest I have on the Boston side of things is if Marcus Smart didn't go through shoot around, so I think he's probably going to be out. I don't think.
Basketball Monster says he's out right now.
Okay. Not
That.
not a surprise then. So I think I like Brogdon and Derek White a little bit. In that case, I also think from a rotation perspective, having one less guard should push some additional minutes towards Grant Williams as well. So Grant Williams is up to 5-1, so I don't like him from a DFS perspective, but he should get some additional usage and run. And yeah, now that Joel's kind of not been the closer and not been as in on the Pelican side, Zion plays especially. I really have no interest on the Pelican side of things. If Zion was out, I mean, I don't mind Larry Nance, even though he's more so the backup center, and Trey Murphy, I don't mind. But as a whole, I'm pretty much fading this game.
All right, fading this game, but I'll tell you what, you got to have eyes on it if you're an NBA fan, because I think it's going to be an absolutely fascinating matchup. The Celtics have won, like 10 games in a row. They're just absolutely on fire. And this is the type of game that if the Pelicans want to be taken seriously as a true Western Conference contender, you get a win against a team like Boston in a game that, even though it's a 10-game slate, right, a lot of attention, a lot of focus, especially from just the NBA fans on this game. So I'm really excited to watch this game. Like I said, we could bet it live. We'll see how I actually feel. But I think there's much better opportunities on the board tonight. The Phoenix Suns are -2. They're taking on the Utah Jazz. The Jazz have been the surprise of the season so far. The Suns, a lot of people, they wrote their obituaries a little early, but this team is still alive. They're still kicking. Chris Paul's out. Doesn't matter. DeAndre Ayton's beefing with the coach. Doesn't matter. Jay Crowder doesn't want to play at the team. Doesn't matter. Cam Johnson injured. Doesn't matter. This team just keeps rolling. I think you got to credit Monty Williams, Devin Booker, and the systems that they have in place for this Phoenix team to continue to do so well in a year that we all thought that maybe Dallas had absolutely destroyed them. And I wonder for this team, and Glock, if I still see you in the chat, you got to think the same way. If they didn't pull off that comeback in game one, that felt like more than one win to get that comeback. It felt like Dallas was just ending their whole little run or their whole little window there. They come back and get that window, and they've been rolling ever since. Now they're -2 against the Jazz team that, I don't know. I mean, if JJ was on the show and he capped NBA, which he doesn't, but he might say that, hey, this team's still a little overvalued. They've been playing above expectations so far. Yes, they're like the Knicks, right? They have a bunch of veteran role players that get things done, but I don't know how they're going to do against an elite team such as Phoenix. But it's Friday night. The Jazz are at home. Tyler, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to side with the Suns here, spread. I mean, Utah is a tough place to play, but Phoenix has had their luck there. They're 4-1 ATS in their last 5 trips there. Ranch just hit it right on the head. The Jazz have no one to guard Ayton. Like, you going to put Kelly Olynyk on him? I know Ayton's not going to put up Embiid numbers like the other night, but if they just feed him the ball down low, Buddy could walk into like 20 and 15 in this spot, just dictate the game from underneath the hoop. Booker's going to have his way with these smaller guards also, because there's not a guy on that wing that could defend him either. Like, are you sending Colin Sexton at him? He'll shoot over top of him. Clarkson's not a good defender. Are you going to send a guy like Markkanen at him? He's going to be too slow. So I think Booker's in a weird mismatch spot also, like his props, like his points plus assists. His performance double, 7+ assists, and Phoenix win here. I could see that pick and roll with him and Ayton being the backbreaker for the Jazz here. I'm going to back that at plus 370, and give me the Suns at the short number here, -2.5.
All right. You like the Suns -2.5. Bobby, from a betting perspective, do you think the Suns can get it done in Utah? Even when Utah's not that good, this is always a tough place to play.
Yeah, Utah's been surprisingly good this year. I mean, they just have a lot of veteran players that are solid. So I thought they'd probably be closer onto the tank train, but they've been solid. But I like the money line for Phoenix tonight. I think they get the job done. Part of it is the matchup for Ayton. I mean, we saw Embiid just absolutely wreck the Jazz over the weekend. So Ayton's only 6'2" on DraftKings too. He's rating out as really great value. So I love Ayton regardless whether CP3 is in or not tonight. I actually like Ayton a little bit more if CP3 is back in, just with CP3 running the pick and roll. And if CP3 is out again, I mean, I'm definitely interested in In Booker again, campaign's price has gotten pretty high. Mikal Bridges has been doing a little bit more for the Suns too, so don't mind him. And Torrey Craig's been playing some serious minutes and is still sub 5K, so I don't hate Torrey Craig on the Suns side as well for DFS. And Utah, nothing stands out. Olynyk, Clarkson, Conley, Markkanen, like they're all have fine prices. Just there's not going to be any priorities for me on the Utah side.
All right, Tyler. Is there anything more on this one before we move on?
Nope, that's pretty much it for me. I think we touched on everything there.
All right, your New York Knicks, who have been doing great on this road trip, costing me a lot of money though. They're taking on the Golden State Warriors. Tyler, this seems like a typical bounce back spot for my guy, the Golden State Warriors. Let's go. I think that they have that tough loss to Phoenix. I think Steph Curry is absolutely going to go back tonight. We know how much better this team is at home. And New York's been traveling for a while. They did Denver, then they did Utah. Wait, I did that wrong. They did it Utah, then they did Denver. Now they had a night off. So it's 3-4 for the Knicks. This seems like a great spot for Golden State. The line makers have obviously adjusted there with having them lay 7.5, but still, doesn't this feel like a spot where the Warriors can run away with it? What do you think?
Not doing that. I mean, we talked about it the last time we talked about a Knicks game.
But
we said it. We were like, oh, they screwed us again. And I brought it up. I was like, well, they did this last year. They go on these West Coast road trips. And we're like fade season. And we're sitting there at the end of the road trip. And
do you think it's because New York is so popping, like that they don't feel like going out on the road? Because they're like, I'll just wait till we get home to go out.
A little bit, yeah. But it's like we sat at the end of that road trip last year and we lost every ticket on the road. They won every single one of them games and they covered. We're getting them at 7.5 against a team that's reeling. Give me New York here. I can't trust this Warriors team even at home. 7.5. I could see Brunson and these guys keeping it close. I like his points plus rebounds and assists. I'm going to bet that as long as it's below 30. It's 28.5 today. He could easily get there. He could get you 20 plus points here to where the rebounds and assists you don't need many of. Steph could go off. I don't trust the other guys around them. Just give me New York to cover here. Give me a 7.5. If the game's looking to very ugly too, I would live bet New York's money line because they could win this game here.
Bobby, what are your thoughts here on the Knicks and the Warriors?
Yeah, neither team's been as good defensively as I thought they would be this year. So I've got some interest here from a DFS perspective on the Knicks side. RJ Barrett and Jalen Brunson are at really nice price tags, so I like both of them. Manuel Quickly has been playing 20-plus minutes quite a bit recently, so he's only 4.4K. I don't mind Quickly. He's actually kind of popping projections right now as well, so don't mind them. Tibbs goes to the hot hand so much, though, so I don't love playing guys on the Knicks off the bench, and seems like every time I play Julius Randle, he gets off to a good start, but then Toppin or someone else off the bench plays well, and the Bigs rotation is just a little bit of whoever has the hot hand, but it's a really good matchup against the Warriors. Hartenstein starts. I don't mind him, but I'm probably mostly interested on Brunson and RJ Barrett, and then on the Warriors side, Klay Thompson's been back to playing 30 minutes, so him and Draymond.
But he's been terrible. His player efficiency rating is like 204 out of 214 eligible players.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. He's popped up a couple times from a DFS perspective. So, I mean, from my standpoint, I'm glad if he's playing bad defense because that means that the games are better to target from a DFS perspective. But,
okay, that's a good point. Yeah, I'm just talking about his shooting. You know, Russell Westbrook has a higher three-point percentage shooting than him this year. Russell's at 34. Klay's at 33.
That's wild.
Fred, what if I told you this is their 5th game since November 11th?
Who, the Knicks or the Warriors?
The Warriors. They played on the 11th, on the 13th, on the 14th, on the 16th, and now they play today.
So you're basically saying that 3 and 4 is a wash that I was quoting for the Knicks?
Yeah, it's a 3 and 4 for Golden State also. And then they turn these guys around and make them play on Sunday. So these guys don't catch much of a break anywhere. They're almost playing a schedule like they're condensed, like the last few years. Well, all these other teams are playing a schedule where it's like, here's your 3 days off, here's 4 days off, here's a nice break. There hasn't been a break for this team yet. And now they're running this gauntlet. Give me I might even just take the Knicks money line here, spread. This could be one of them ones where Golden State fights for a half, and then all of a sudden it's like their legs are dead. The only guy that can put the ball in the hoops, Curry. And all of a sudden, here comes the Knicks to win the game as he puts up like 45 points.
All right. So it sounds like I'm alone on Warriors Island. Wore the shirt for nothing. Unbelievable. All right. Anything more on this game before we get to the last game of the night?
Nope.
No, that's
The
pretty much
Detroit
it for me.
Pistons taking on Bobby's favorite team, the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers are -7 going against the Detroit Pistons, total 226. LeBron took a break from being a part of the Amazon Prime team to go ahead and play some basketball tonight. He's questionable. I wonder if arguing with Jalen Ramsey was a little too much for him. Anthony Davis is probable. Thomas Bryant is back. Dennis Schrader, I think this will be his season debut. Maybe he played a game and I missed it. Toscano Anderson's out. Max Christie's out. And most importantly for this game, Cade Cunningham's out. This team has been so reliant on Cade Cunningham. Hey, our Ivy prop got home again last night, but it was barely. It was 17.5. He scored 18. I don't know if I was going to continue to go back to that tonight. I said I was, but boy, that one scared me last night. Tyler, what's your thoughts?
Our guy Rance hit it in the chat. It's an AD spot. Who the hell is covering him tonight? Isaiah Stewart?
Beef stew, baby.
Bogdanovich?
Jalen Duren, baby.
Jalen Duren's not fast enough on his feet.
Yeah, you're right.
So it's like this performance double sticking out to me right when I look at it. AD to score 25+ points, the Lakers win, +160. Knock the 7 points off just in case they get a little weird in this game. All the offense is going to be ran through AD. My one worry, though, is maybe LeBron plays, but I still think AD can get to 25 with him on the floor in this matchup. That's my favorite bet here. Just give me that performance double. Throw the points out of the window so you're not stressing at the end of the game and just gab them outright to win.
Isaiah Stewart's out tonight. It's just on Basketball Monster.
So it'd be Bagley. So Buddy's just going to walk to the hoop to score.
Oh, my gosh. He's going to put up like 50. He's going to look like Embiid.
Yep. This is gonna be Pelicans AD where he was just dropping stats.
At least the Kings are winning, or I couldn't have taken this. Bobby, looks like it's a great spot for your team. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think that AD should kick the shit out of this front court for the Pistons. I like targeting the Pistons front court, even when they're healthy. So, yeah, give me AD against Bagley. I love AD tonight. Love the props. Love him from a DFS perspective. Love him a little bit less if LeBron is in, but nonetheless, I still think 10.2K is a reasonable price tag. He can definitely have a ceiling game. And he's projected for sub 5% ownership. He's for sure going to make my article later today for low-owned studs. And with Schrader and some of the other guys coming back for the Lakers, I'm not going to play it with any of the secondary pieces. It's basically 80 or bust for me on the Lakers side of things for Detroit. Ivy's still a reasonable price tag. Duran is a reasonable price tag too. Don't mind either of them. My favorite plays on the Pistons side of things are actually Bogdanovich, and I think Sadiq Bey is also at 5.3K is a reasonable price tag. I think he can, even with a decent game, get there from a value perspective. But Sadiq Bey has these games where he just goes out for 50 DK and just is unconscious from three. Playing the Lakers seems like a good time to get hot from three. So I think that Sadiq Bey at single-digit ownership and a nice matchup and reasonable price tag is interesting on the Pistons side of things.
All right. Tyler, anything more on this one before we wrap up the show?
I love that Bey call because I could definitely see him getting hot from three tonight. I want to see what his threes prop is set at. Let's see what that is. Because this could even be one of those ones where you hit the ladder prop.
Is that your phone, Tyler?
Yeah, that was me.
Why do you have it set like a ringtone, like an actual ring that you never even heard in your whole life? Have you ever used a dial-up phone?
When you're sleeping and that's next to you and it goes off, you wake up.
Have you ever seen a rotary phone?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. My bad. That we were talking about rotary phones on the old guy pod the other day.
Yeah, Sadiq Bey 4+3 5-1. I think he can easily get the 4 in this matchup.
Yeah,
right.
I love that call by our guy Bob.
That's a fun prop. I like that.
All right. Well, that's a great look. Bobby, great performance today, but we're not done yet. Guys, give us a thumbs up and we give you the best bet. Tyler, let's start with you. Best bet for the day.
Go to Bobby first.
Bobby, hey, I know you've been giving us the DFS insight, but you're going to have to cross the street and jump into the betting world now. What's your best bet for today? Side, total, or
yeah, I'd love to be in the betting streets a little bit more, but up in Minnesota, everything goes so slow. I can't imagine we're going to be getting that any day soon. But I my favorite bet's actually the AD bet that Tyler mentioned. Give me that plus money, the double in the Lake Show to get the dub.
All right. Yeah, dancing on the Kings fans' graves there, taking the Lakers, but I'll be honest, I can't argue with you there. There's a lot of tough spots for me here tonight. I don't want to do it because you guys made such good points. But I'm going to take the Warriors -7.5. I think they bounce back tonight. They look so much better at home. I think this Knicks team is tired. I think Steph will put up 50, but it'll be in a win. We'll get some support from the bench mob tonight. I think that there's a feeling of desperation there. I've been saying this is preseason, but this might have woken them up, this latest losing streak, especially the way they got their ass kicked by the Phoenix Suns. So I like the Warriors -7.5 tonight. Tyler, did you have one for us?
Give me the Pacers here -5 spread. They're going to beat the Rockets. They're going to beat them up. I think they're going to blow them out. And then one performance double I really like, because we never really see this at plus money. Giannis double-double when Milwaukee wins +160. They win. He probably walks into that double-double. The only way he doesn't is if he ends the stat line at the end's like 42, 9, and 8. So I'm going to take my chances that he gets the rebounds here. He double-doubles. They win the game. That's going to be my 2 best bets.
There you have it. That is the NBA Rundown, brought to you by runpuresports.com. If you're not a member, make sure you head on over. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. Give us a thumbs up. We give you the winners. Bobby, what an excellent performance on your great show, on your first show. I think you had a great show. You overcame the Kirk Cousins slander, and you just got the ball to Justin Jefferson. You got the win against all odds. Great performance. Loved having you here.
I will say Bobby didn't tuck and scream as he threw the ball to Justin Jefferson like Kirk Cousins does.
Oh my gosh! Here we go again. We're doing some talking touchdowns already, and we'll be one of us will be victory lapping on Monday. But make sure you're subscribed, and you'll be notified when you get all the content on this Run Pure Sports YouTube channel. We give out so many free winners every day. I don't see how you couldn't afford a membership. Come on over, become a member, join the team. Bobby, any words of wisdom for the people before we get out of here?
No, nothing else on the NBA side of things. The last thing I got is School Vikes.
All right. Well, let people know when the article is going to be out and where they can find the rest of your content.
Yes. So I'll be on the playbook for Gary today. So I'll have the playbook up a little bit later this afternoon. I'll also have my my article up later this afternoon. I usually do the playbook on Thursdays and Sundays. And then I also have an article that comes out on the website that's premium for members only on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Usually that's up in the early afternoon. It's called Shippers Misprices, Shippers, and Fades. It's 5 guys that are good shot that are mispriced, 5 guys that are low owned that can help you ship tournaments, and 5 guys to the fade. I try and list guys that are 10% or higher in that fade section if I can.
All right. Love to hear it. And now the people know. So thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll be back Monday.
Want to give a little parlay spread? We haven't done one of those. We could see if we could end the week with a bang.
Are the likes up?
Yeah, you should be.
I don't want to deal with more from Hoop, man. I've already had a tough week with this whole crypto deal.
Yeah, we'll give them one.
I don't want Hoop to come over with that lawnmower.
Well, we're going to go with that AD prop, the 25+ in the Lakers win. That Giannis won the double-double when Milwaukee wins. And then we'll get 8 in as our last leg. 8 and 18+ in Phoenix wins. That gets you 21-1.
21-1. Smash the like and run pure.